whether a criminal prosecution was not pursued by the force when a person threatened to expose that Sir Edward Heath may have been involved in offences concerning children. That allegation had been made by a former senior officer within the force. Well, last night we had a statement from the former brothel keeper who's been at the heart of this story, Myra Lingling Ford, and she said that she hadn't implicated Ted Heath in anything at all when she escaped conviction at Winchester Crown Court in 1992. Now, today, we've heard from Judge Nigel CQC. He's interrupted his holiday because he says he wants to put the record straight. Back in 1992, he was the prosecutor for Myra Lingling Ford's trial for prostitution-related offences. And speaking on a crackly phone line from the south of France, he told me he turned up at court to see lots of reporters hanging around, and he asked the police why they were interested in this case.
I was serving to the court, and she ended up having to give evidence on trial went ahead. She was going to allege that upon her business she had provided rent boys for Edward Heath. But the case depended entirely on the evidence of the three prostitutes who worked at her brothel.
So these three prostitutes who worked in the brothel were at the heart of the case, and he wanted to call them as witnesses about Myra Ford's activities, 2 female, 1 male. But the man and one of the women didn't turn up at court, and the other woman, who'd been brought over from Holloway Prison, refused to come up and give evidence. She was in the cells. As the press waited on, Nigel CQC had to throw in the towel.
I offered no evidence, and the judge entered verdicts of not guilty. And it was my decision. Obviously, I spoke to the Crown Prosecution Service and done a consultation with them. But our hands were tied. We didn't have the evidence we relied on to proceed against them. And the fact that she was alleging, making these allegations against Edward Heath, had nothing whatsoever to do with the advancing of the case against her.
Now, he told me that there was nothing in the manner in which the police told him about Myra Ford's planned claims about the former PM that had caused him concern. They all thought in court this was a classic case of a desperate criminal making up stories to avoid jail. And secondly, while rent boys featured in this case, there was no suggestion at all that any of them were under 18 years old. Indeed, the judge said he would have remembered that kind of specific detail because the age of consent for homosexuality was different back then, and that made a real difference to the outcome of some cases. 3 years later, Myra Ford was convicted, and that later case did involve allegations that some of the prostitutes were underage. I asked the former prosecutor whether the police watchdog, the IPCC, had been in touch regarding what he'd said. This is what he said.
I was quite surprised when I read that this was on the squad's path without anybody actually bothering to find out what happened over the trial. Because, as I say, Edward Heath had nothing to do with that trial not proceeding.
Judge Steve didn't know Sir Edward Heath, and he can't recall ever meeting him. But his comments tonight will be welcomed by the late parliamentarian's friends, who questioned whether there was any reason at all for the IPCC to go public on Monday. We've asked the watchdog for a response.
Dominic Casciani reporting, as he's been for us on this story all week, and we'll probably be back tomorrow. The time now 21 minutes to 6. The actor George Cole, best known for playing Arthur Daly in ITV's Minder, has died. He was 90. His agent said he died in hospital following a short illness, surrounded by his family. Although he starred in several St Trinian's films, it was as Arthur Daly, a role he played for 16 years, that he'll be best remembered.
Right, we're on again next month. Forget that. Forget it. The world is your lobster, my son. You've got a new career. People's champion.
I hadn't even seen a script. I just saw the format. And it said Arthur Daly was firmly behind the Home Secretary about crime and punishment. His favourite film was The Godfather, and he dresses like a dodgy member of the Citizens Advice Bureau. That's all I needed.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Ah, pleased to meet you, Mr. Morgan. Arthur Daly. He didn't sound Welsh, did he? He seemed like a nice chap.
Well, Dennis Waterman starred alongside George Cole in Minder is live on PM, and I believe you saw George Cole just the other day.
Yeah, luckily I spent Tuesday afternoon at their house, and I have to say he looked very frail, and had lost a huge amount of weight, but his wit was still there, and he was still having a little dig and having a smile.
Now, we heard him there recalling how he got into Minder.